What's good, y'all? It's your humble Rōnin here with another episode of Lounge Rōnin, all things, everything. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And on this episode, we're going to discuss CIA documents claim that the Ark of the Covenant has been recovered. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button and subscribe. You know what to do. Let's get into this topic. Oh, that's not it. All right, here we go. Okay, this article came out March 27th, 2025, and it is written by Nathan Faddle. The location of the golden chest, believed to hold the original version of the Ten Commandments, has long been a mystery, with many people doubting that it ever existed at all. But a CIA document claims the Ark of the Covenant was found in the 1980s by people who were involved in the government's controversial remote viewing program, which implemented a psychic training regime that helped participants unlock hidden powers of clairvoyance, the ability to see into the future, or to prevent or to perceive objects or events that were outside the range of normal senses. According to biblical accounts, the Ark of the Covenant was constructed by the Israelites soon after their exodus from Egypt, around the 15th century BC. Moses is said to have placed the Ten Commandments inside the sacred chest to ensure their safety and preservation. But the location of the Ark, assuming it really exists, was lost in time long ago. During the 1980s, the CIA, along with other intelligence agencies like the Defense Intelligence Agency, I've never heard of that agency before. Has any of you guys heard of that agency? The Defense Intelligence Agency? I've never heard of it. Conducted many experiments with remote viewing, which those who were closest to the program have long maintained produced real successes. In Project Stargate, remote viewers were asked to locate people or objects wherever they might be in the world. And at times, they were even tasked with viewing locations that were off planet, such as the moon and Mars. Now, I've heard about those incidents, and that when it came to Mars, they were seeing, ancient megalithic structures, pyramids. With the moon, they were looking at the dark side of the moon, and they were seeing some megalithic structures and some other types of advanced technology. Who knows what's beyond that side? All right. One of these tests involved a participant identified as remote viewer number 32, was secretly tasked with finding the Ark of the Covenant. He wasn't told what he was looking for, but he was only tasked to view what he could find at certain coordinates. When the man described, what the man described did in fact seem to fit the description of the Ark, and his sessions were considered a success. This remote viewer seemingly confirmed the Ark of the Covenant was concealed somewhere in the Middle East, apparently validating the information that had led to being given a particular set of coordinates in the first place. Historians generally believe the Ark was once stored within the Holy Holies, the most sacred inner chamber of the ancient Temple of Jerusalem. However, it vanished from records following the Babylonian destruction of Jerusalem in 1586 BC. Some legends suggest the artifact was secretly taken to Ethiopia. That's what I heard, where it is to remain in a local church. Despite ongoing theories, no definitive evidence of the Ark has been found. But the CI document, which was declassified in 2000 and has finally come to light, asserts that the sacred relic was in fact located 37 years ago, although obviously it remains uncovered. And here we have the document itself. This is the front page document. It says here, training target number 0209 is the Ark of the Covenant. Viewer 32 attained excellent sight contact, doing very well with stage structure. Viewer also exhibit the ability to keep AOL to a minimum. Area of location. Have to be careful with editing though. This does not seem to be a problem at this time, just something to watch for. I'm wondering if area of location is like maybe this idea that, you know, other people can tap into their energy presence within that area, because, you know, it's not like the U.S. government is the only government that has remote viewing agents. This is a thing that even the Russian military has. In fact, the Russians lucked out and got themselves some of the Nazi scientists who specialized in remote viewing after the fall of the Nazi regime. So, you know, if you've ever seen the movie Doctor Strange, just imagine that in terms of what these people are capable of doing. You know, they're able to project, you know, a spiritual version of themselves into these planes of existence of our reality, and they're able to interact, view things. You know, I don't know if they're able to interact. I'm not sure if it's, you know, maybe if you are at a certain level of abilities, it's possible. I'm not really sure. You know, Doctor Strange does play with that idea a lot, astral projection. You know, I think this is kind of the same thing in that regards. But very interesting document. You know, it's clearly here. So if you want to look up this document, you're more than capable of doing that. Excuse me. If that's something that you guys are interested in, I will more than gladly put the link in the description. Remote viewing the Ark's location. The CIA document recounts the results of a session in which the remote viewer described the target as a container, housing another container within it. The report further details the object was composed of wood, gold, and silver, and featured the description of a six-winged angel. The viewer identified the object as resembling a coffin and stated that it was situated somewhere in the Middle East. Additionally, they noted the presence of Arab-speaking individuals in the surrounding area. Notably, the participant was unaware before the session that they were searching for the lost Ark, and the coordinates were given were such that it was impossible to tell where on the globe the artifact was suspected of being. Biblical tradition holds that the gold-covered wooden chest was crafted around 1445 BC. The Ten Commandments, which were inscribed on the stone tablets, were given to Moses by God and contained foundational laws such as "Thou shalt not kill" and "Honor my mother and father." That's what the mainstream people will tell you, but underground, the Ark was a weapon of mass destruction that the Israelites, on more than one occasion, used. I know everyone likes to pretend that the Israelites were just roaming through the desert, just running away and hiding. Nah. They were out there in the desert fucking shit up. Alright? They were fucking shit up. And make sure to hit that like button if you're new to the channel. So the idea that, you know, Moses was out there just, you know, searching for the land, they were ransacking and raiding and pillaging as well. So don't be mistaken. And at times probably using the ark as some type of weapon. From what some people describe it, it either is a weapon itself or it contains weapons within it. There are stories of the people who are carrying it, experiencing radiation poisoning, at times blindness. So there are very interesting and unique stories in regards to what the capabilities of the ark truly are. Let's continue. Many scholars suggest that the ark remained within the ancient temple for centuries, during which only the high priest of the Israelites was permitted to view it, and only the Yom Kippur, the holiest day in Jerusalem. Then at some point it vanished without a trace, meaning it might have either been stolen or moved in a secret to a more secure location to protect it from thieves. Despite the unknown fate, the declassified CIA report linked to the secretive Project Sunstreak suggests the U.S. intelligence agencies were interested in finding the ark and were relatively convinced that the remote viewer had done so. If it's in the Middle East, how funny would it be that Saudi Arabia has it? Then we definitely ain't getting it back if the Saudis got it. That's for sure. It must be in a location that will be too much of a headache for the United States government to intervene in, make a situation out of it. It's kind of like with Iraq. They want to tell you that, and we know that they were allegedly looking for weapons of mass destruction. But some will tell you that they were actually there to gather many of the ancient technologies and artifacts that Saddam Hussein was going to put on display in many museums that he had built for his people. So, don't believe the propaganda. Let's continue. Project Sunstreak exposed. In the 1970s and 80s, the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, and other intelligence organizations, including the CIA, employed individuals who possessed paranormal abilities to acquire intelligence on distant events. This one happened December 5th, 1988. Target is a container. This container has another container inside of it. The target is fashioned of wood, gold, and silver. The target is similar in shape to AOL, a coffin, and is decorated with serpent. I can't make out that last word. Excuse me. This target is located somewhere in the Middle East, as the language spoken by the individuals present seemed to be Arabic. Visuals of surrounding buildings indicated the presence of a mosque dome. Individuals in the area were clothed in virtually all white, had black hair and dark eyes. One figure I homed in on wore a mustache. The target is hidden, underground, dark, and wet, where all aspects of the location of the target. The purpose of the target is to bring people together. It has something to do with ceremony, memory, honage, the resurrection. There is an aspect of spirituality, information, lessons, and historical knowledge far beyond what we know. The target is protected by entities and can only be opened by those who are authorized to do so. This container will not open until the time is deemed correct. Once it is time to open the container, the mechanics of the lock system will be found to be fairly simple. Individuals opening the container by prying or striking are destroyed by the container's protectors through the use of power unknown to us. So there are several things that stood out to me. It says the target is protected by entities. So it's not, you have humans who are the keeper, but they're claiming that there are entities that are protecting it. Which can mean a number of things. You know, one thing that's interesting, what I've been hearing a lot of when people who interact with the occult, who interact with these beings beyond space and time, especially when it's come to the government or even private people, at times when they strike a connection, a communication, there is an exchange of goods. And there has been instances where these entities have given them small pieces of metallic metals, of unknown properties. What is not, it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Ark of the Covenant, during those times, those types of spiritual connections were probably a lot more stronger and had more of a foundation to them, that the means of exchange was a lot more easier, and that the types of items, rather it being small pieces of metal, could be an entire chest full of all sorts of mystical or otherworldly technologies and scriptures and writings. Just something to keep in mind. Let's continue. Project Sunstreak was one such initiative that sought to use remote viewers to identify and gather intelligence on distant locations through the process of psychic visualization, clairvoyance, essentially relying on their ability to project their consciousness outside of their bodies. Remote viewers were tasked with a range of operations, including tracking fugitives, locating hostages held by terrorist organizations. The existence of this project gained renewed public attention after it was discussed in a recent episode of the Ninjas Are Butterflies podcast. Podcast host Josh Hooper initially dismissed Project Sunstreak as a hoax, but was surprised to find official documentation of the program in the eye-opening Ark of the Covenant session on the CIA's website. I was like, what am I looking at? Quote, Hopper said in an interview with the Daily Mail. The CIA document describes a training exercise that took place on December 5th, 1988, and we covered that. We covered we covered that. The remote viewer detailed the Ark. The artifact was hidden underground. We got all of that. Furthermore, the viewer claimed that the Ark was guarded by powerful entities and could only be accessed by those deemed worthy. We covered that. Okay, now here we go. The declassified report includes sketches and handwritten notes from the remote viewing session. Among these drawings are images of what appear to be architectural features: a domed mosque, 8 figures resembling mummies, a wheel, a winged creature referred to as a seraphim. The document also contains lists of cryptic words such as death, forbidden, protected, sacred, destroyed, pain, and anguish. I would speculate those were the only words that they were able to translate. Theories abound, but no Ark. Some researchers speculate that the Ark of the Covenant may be hidden somewhere in Ethiopia, which I've watched a documentary about that. It sounded pretty compelling to me. But you never know nowadays. They tell you to look one way and then it's the other. Although the remote viewer placed it in the Middle East, Ethiopia is home to a sizable Arabic-speaking population and has numerous mosques. Long-standing Ethiopian religions hold that the Ark was brought to the country by Menek, believed to be the son of Queen Sheba and the King Solomon. The Queen of Sheba, who hailed from Ethiopia, ruled over the kingdom that included parts of modern-day Yemen. I actually did cover Queen Sheba on this channel, so feel free to take a look at that in the Lounge Rōnin playlist. According to the legend, Menek journeyed to Jerusalem to study under his father and ultimately took the ark with him back to Aksum, Ethiopia, where it placed in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion. So there we have a drawing of Menek bringing the Ark of the Covenant to Aksum. Now, this is just an interpretation, but, the Ark seems to be quite small in that picture. For all we know, the Ark of the Covenant might not be this giant mass. Well, actually, they did say it was the size of a coffin, so I stand corrected. Bishop scholar Edward Uldroff, an expert in Semitic languages and Ethiopian studies, claims to have seen the Ark inside the church during World War II. However, in 2018, historian Tudor Patfip disputed the assertion, stating that what Uldroff actually saw was merely a replica. Patfip explained what he saw was what you find in any Ethiopian church, which is a model of the Ark of the Covenant. He further noted that Uldroff had remarked on that artifact didn't differ in any way from the many arks he had seen in other churches in Ethiopia, and it was neither ancient nor the original ark. Well, then you can add that to the case where it's possibly, well, how funny of it, right? It would be a smart idea to hide the Ark of the Covenant in a country where every church and mosque probably has their own replica of the Ark. You'd never be able to really find it. It's a smart idea, if it's in Ethiopia. Despite centuries of speculation, the true fate of its sacred relic remains an unsolved mystery, waiting for definitive evidence to emerge. While the CIA document is extremely intriguing, the information it produced is not a specific address or a landmark where the Ark may be located. So no rescue operation could be mounted. Rescue operation? That's not going to be a rescue. That will be an invasion. Okay? That would be a holy war. And who are you rescuing it from? If it's being protected, then it doesn't need any rescuing. All right. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So there you have it. One of the possible locations for the Ark of the Covenant could be in Ethiopia or somewhere in the Middle East. We're not entirely sure. But I do find it interesting the entities that are guarding it. And what are those implications? And I want to look more into this DIA. I've never heard of this agency before. There's a lot of very intriguing things regarding this historical relic. Whether or not it is something that was made here or if it was brought to us from beyond space and time will be left for the scholars to uncover. But the fact remains is that we really don't know much about ancient history because a lot of it has been propagandized and misrepresented to such a degree that we don't really know the truth. And it's only until you read the books that were banned is when you realize the truth that has been hidden all along. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Lounge Rōnin. All things, everything. And please, make sure to do your own research, as you may be surprised at what you discover about the world and yourself. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And until next time, stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love.